name is M.A.M.Z and I make weird music. And I have made a song about the seasons in Darjeeling. The song was done for a monthly song challenge hosted by Hugo Moroux, Justice Cow and Ben Levin. The challenge for the month of September 2023 was to do a song based on the seasons. Before I talk about my own song, I wanted to invite some of my friends and ask them what they did for their own submissions. Firstly, Dr. Whom the First, whom you may remember from the randomness video. He has done a song simply called Seasons. He's from the USA, so let's hear from him what the seasons are like over there.
For this track, I decided to take a basic approach of how each season made me feel. Summer weather is beautiful but can be rough at times, so I kept it simple with a repetitive piano-type progression to emphasize joy but not make it too perfect. Autumn is my favorite season and Halloween is a big holiday in my area, so I went with a Black Sabbath kind of sound. Then there's winter. Usually seasonal depression settles in, so I feel this calls for a reverb-drenched tremolo riff. Spring usually has a lot of rain, and for me it evokes a lot of the same feelings as summer, so I did a variation of the summer progression. There is a joke that the fifth season around here is road work, but sadly I didn't think to incorporate those types of sounds, but given the lo-fi vibe, I feel like it kind of fits. Hope you enjoy.
Next up, we have our friend Scully. We recently collaborated on my song Be Okay. Scully has made a song called Passing By. Scully is from Germany, so let's hear from him what the seasons are like in Deutschland.
Hey, I'm Scully, and for my song I wanted to do a piano-only piece, so I divided the song in 4 sections and tried to make them very contrasting, even though I made summer and spring similar because they go over into each other pretty seamlessly. For production, the main piano uses Valhalla Supermassive to just give it a little bit more space. Then I used a simple piano sign for the melodies, and there's a little Easter egg in my melody for summer because it spells out "the world is burning." For the fall section in the melody, I use buffer shuffler, which is basically just scrambling up your audio and reversing parts of it, which gives it an interesting vibe even though it's just the same note. And for transitions, I just use the riser or blended different sections into each other. And that's basically my song.
Nextly, we have our friend Witch King 99. You may remember we made a song some time ago with Sumika called Let's Epilate. He collaborated with a new artist called Safest Outbound Sparrows, and they have made a song called Seasonings. Witchy is also from Germany, so let's hear from him whether what Scully told us earlier is true or not.
Thank you so much, M.A.M.Z, for inviting me to have a talk about our song. Actually, I haven't thought that much about the German seasons while composing. I just had a very pop-punk rock-ish melody laying around on my PC that I titled Summer 1. And I submitted that melody to Safest Outbound Sparrows. And he agreed that it was sounding very summery-ish, so we used it as our main section and shaped the rest of the song around that melody. The only thing that we actively composed with having German seasons in mind is the spring section, which is rather short compared to the German summer, for example. And with spring being my favorite season, I don't like that it's so short in Germany, so I wanted to point that out, I guess.
We have our friend Quitchman. We collaborated long ago on my song Please Have Mercy. Quitch has made a song collaborating with Mrs. Quitch called Årstiderne. This.
Årstiderne.
He's from Denmark, so let's hear from him what the Danish seasons are like.
So for a while I've been wanting to do some creative collaboration with my wife, and inspired by this theme, the seasons, she wrote a 4-stanza poem, one for each season. It went very smoothly and we did everything in one go. And then I wrote music for it, one piece essentially for each season, and pieced it all together into one piece of music. Went really well, I think.
Finally, we have Maya, whom I've collaborated with many times on several projects. He collabed with 3 other artists to give us a song called 0004 Seasons. So let's hear from Maya what the seasons in his part of America is like.
This song challenge, 0004 Seasons, was a collaboration between Prostitute, who started it on the wintry track. Then SSJ4 Weed followed up, was going to do summer, but then jumped to spring and did that, and then I was going to do summer. And it was the last day of summer. And also Absence of Thought was doing fall, which was going to be the next day when that was going on. So I recorded actually a sound sandwich of ambient nature stuff and put it together, and I stitched them all together. I think it was almost 30 seconds.
Now, for my own song, I firstly lined up all the seasons in Darjeeling. The big joke about the climate of Darjeeling is that we only have 2 seasons, the raincoat and the overcoat. It is not 100% accurate, but it is about 90% accurate. We have a long winter that lasts about 4 or 5 months, and then a tiny spring that barely lasts about a month. Then the monsoons start, which go on for another 4 or 5 months. Then there is a tiny sliver of nice weather where all our major festivals happen. So I'm gonna call it the festival season. Then again, we're back in the winter. We are usually supposed to make our songs about 4 minutes long. So I roughly divided my timeline into the seasons based on the ratio of how long the seasons are in Darjeeling. I wanted it to be calendrical, so I started it in January, which is already midway into winter. Winter is cold in Darjeeling, and sometimes we also have snow. However, it is actually a nice time, at least in my mind. Being from a privileged home, we had amenities to keep ourselves warm. Blankets, bed heaters, warm waters, etc. And especially during school times, it was a great time to look forward to since we had 3 solid months of winter vacations. So I knew my winter music had to be chilly, but not in a grim black metal sort of way. It had to be nice and calming and satisfactory. So I did some artificial harmonics on the electric guitar, roughly outlining the C major 7th chord and the major scale around it. Since we started in January, about 3 months later, or in our timeline about a minute later, starts the beautiful 1 or 2 months of spring. Car, go away, come never again. The sun starts shining again and the flowers bloom. Flowers like the mighty rhododendron, locally called gudas. I made a whole song about it called the Rhododendron Song. So I thought, why don't I quote myself? Of course, I had to change the key to fit in with the previous season. But only about 2 months or 45 seconds later, the rains start pouring. India is a land that is heavily reliant on the monsoons. The damp winds coming north from the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea hit the Himalayas and shed its load of water. Countless songs have been written about the monsoons by different communities in different languages from far-flung places all across India. So it is no surprise that there is also a family of ragas that were made to represent the rains. The raga Mia Malhar that I chose for this section was supposedly composed by the fabled musician of the 16th century, Mia Tansen. I hope to make more videos explaining Indian classical ragas in more details in the future. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know down in the comments below. After about a minute and a half, around October, the sun starts shining again. And the people from Darjeeling get ready for the 2 biggest festivals celebrated by the Nepali community. Of course, there are other communities in Darjeeling that celebrate other festivals too, but since I was born into a Nepali family, these were the 2 that were significant in my life. They are Dasai and Tihar. Distant family members get together, elaborate meals are prepared, and everyone is dressed in new and colorful clothes. And there is a lot of folk music heard all across the town. There is a certain rhythm called the Jhaure rhythm that is recognizable as a classic rhythm in Nepali folk music. Editing stage M.A.M.Z here. Some of my friends told me that it would be good if I showed the Jaure rhythm, so I quickly made an Ableton drum rack using some Madal samples, and here it is. Back to the video. So I played this rhythm on the acoustic guitar and over it sang some melodies roughly in the style of Nepali folk music to the best of my abilities. And then the sun fades away and the cold starts slowly creeping in. The harmonics and the major sevenths that we heard at the beginning of the year come in again to welcome a new year, a new calendar selling on the steep road above the old Orient restaurant. Just like the Hammond organ, we see the people of Darjeeling the whole year round in different flavors, in different rhythms, in different clothings, in different melodies. But you cannot miss the unmistakable sound of the Hammond, the unmistakable character of the people in Darjeeling. They remain the whole year round. So maybe now you should listen to the song and let yourselves be lost in the beauty of the Queen of the Hills. Here's 365. Welcome back! Did you like the song? Did you like the song? Did you like the song? Because if you did, then you should subscribe! I would also like you to listen to Doc's, Scully's, Witchy's, Quitch's and Maya's song for the song challenge. In fact, you should listen to all the submissions for the song challenge, for which I'll put the link in the description below. And if you want to try a song challenge for yourself, you should join Hugo's Discord community. Tell me in the comments below what seasons you have in your part of the world. And while you're at it, don't forget to like the video and turn on notifications as well. Hope you all have a wonderful season ahead. Because for me, we are now heading into the festival season. So I'm gonna run now. Stay tuned, okay, bye!